Hey, what's up guys, the Thetcglover here. Now, I hope you guys had a great weekend. I wanted to make a couple of videos over the weekend, but I had to go back home to see my family, so I couldn't really do any Yu-Gi-Oh! Related stuff for that weekend. But now that it's Monday, I decided to play Raccoons for a little bit because I'm actually decided to build them in real life. A couple of people hooked me up with some cards, and looks like I'm going to be playing Raccoons for a bit. So it's a fun deck, and I'm actually playing the build that got top 4 in a Halifax regional in America somewhere. I don't know my geography very well in America, so apologize if I don't know where Halifax is, because in England it's a bank, so it's quite confusing. Raccoons is a fun deck. The build is okay. I mean, like, I think it's pretty consistent. It has Upstart Goblin. It doesn't run Reckless Greed, so it's not completely hobanized. Raccoons in general have a really good matchup against particular decks. Any deck that utilizes tons of spells, it will be good against, because you can make the Notoria Beast without much effort. That's Spellbooks, Fire Kings, Fire Fist, a lot of different decks. I mean, Raccoons is really meta-relevant right now, and it depends solely on how consistently you can get to Obedience Scored, which is why running Upstart Goblin instead of Reckless Greed, because Reckless Greed will draw into all of your targets for Obedience Scored. So it's kind of like you don't really want to clog your hand of all these level 2 beasts. He also ran 2 Caius the Shadow Monarch, which he tributed one of his Obedience School targets, and made Leo the Guard Beast of the Great Tree, or whatever it's called in English. The level 10 synchro that can't be targeted. So Caius lets you to banish something and then make Leo, which is pretty much great, because you'd be on, generally you'd banish the problem, anything that could be a problem. So you just make Leo and you've got a clear field. So one of the best plays to start the game off, right, depending on which deck you're playing, but generally the best play to do is have Ponponko and Obedience Scored in your hand. No, you Obedience Scored first, because you've got no monsters, and then you summon Elephant and 2 Earth Beasts, and then you make Sandayu with the other 2 that aren't Elephant, because Elephant's the tuner, and then you detach to summon Token, and then you summon Pomponko, special summon Tantan in defense mode, and then you synchro Elephant, the Token, and Pomponko to make Notoria Beast. So you end your turn with a Sandayu, which can't be destroyed by battle by card effects, a Notoria Beast, which can negate your opponent's your opponent's first turn out, a face down Tantan for a follow-up play. So that's the best play, and it only costs you 2 cards in hand, and gets a lot of cards out your deck as well, so you can get into your traps as well when you start drawing them. So anyway, let's have a look at some replays. So the first one is Raccoons versus Ojama. Now this is just for fun. His deck was okay, he got some momentum going, but I ultimately opened up pretty broken. I opened up the nuts, Obedience Scored and Pomponko. I don't think I did that play. I did Caius instead, so I could make Leo, because I wanted to make him, because it was one of the first duels I played with the deck, so I wasn't too sure about how viable that first turn Pomponko Obedience Score combo was going to be. So I thought setting up a 3100 beat stick on the first turn would be pretty good. So he Morphine Jars, and he pretty much draws into like everything he needs, but fortunately I make Pomponko and set some shenanigans. So he Ojama Magics and get some nice sort of pseudo advantage, So I Phoenix Chain, because I know he's got all the cards in his hand to do. So he Ojama Kings, and he makes some really bad misplays here, because he should have made Ojama King in attack mode. Fortunately, one of my face downs was MST, and I have a mistake, a Horn of the Phantom Piece and a Phoenix Chain. So I'm pretty much set for life, right? So I have a 3900 Leo, which every time it destroys a monster in battle, you get to draw a card. So it's pretty formidable at this point. So I get to draw another card. So at this point, I'm just creating mass advantage. Because of the fact he's got a Ojama King, I can't flip up Tantan. Or I can, but I wouldn't get a monster. So he Sendayus as well. So he attacks into my Pomponko, and Ojama King destroys my Leo. So I flip up Tantan and get Calentosa, which destroys a back row. I summon Sandayu, and I go and get a 3000 beat, and I attack over for 2000, because I knew I had game by that point. I had just too many cards ahead because of Horn of the Phantom Beast. Let's go to Raccoons versus Fire Kings. Pretty decent hand, Upstart Goblin. I opened up pretty okay, I didn't give him information about what deck I was playing, because Upstart Goblin is played in every fucking deck. So I was surprised he didn't do the Fire Formation tanky play, but obviously I'm just not assuming that every DM player is really good at the game, So I summon Pomponko, get some field presence, and start attacking. I think I attack for... I can't remember what I do, but I think I just attack like that. You know, basically take away the 1,000 that I gave him off upstart. So Torrential and Fiendish Chain come down, and I've realised that both of these cards are pretty bad against Fire Kings. So I just kind of have to hope that I can Fiendish Chain Garunix at some point and kind of whittle him down that way. So I summon another token, summon Tantan, get Elephant, and I make Notoria Barkion because I wasn't sure what his back row was, but I made a complete misread. I assumed it would be something like Torrential Tribute or something. Yeah, so he summons Garunix and I Fiendish Chain, and he circles, so he gets to resolve Garunix because it's now off the field, and Fiendish Chain doesn't work on cards off the field. So he summons Gorilla, I Torrential because I don't want him to get a free fire formation. He has Warbuck in his hand, so he was just baiting out back row. I make Pompunko. At this point I'm like, oh, my hand's a bit cack, but I work with it. So he Wolfbucks and I Veiler because I know that it's probably best that I deal with that now. So I take 1900 and I special on Wind Up Kitten because I thought putting Garunix back in the hand is probably the best thing to do. So he Fiendish Chains and I thought that's okay, that's cool. So Kalantosa makes Sandayu, get Tenuki, attack into Wolfbark because I don't want to allow him to special summon into Tiger King because then things start to go horribly wrong when he starts negating all my shit. So Garunix gets Barong, he now has stuff. So he Silent Arcs and he should have attacked with the other card. He didn't attack and I would have had to Fiendish Chain to protect my monster. He would have Silent Arc, taken my monster, and so he made a grave error in misplaying there. And it's pretty much cost him the game because I won this one, but only just about. So I summon that, attack over his thing, attack. So on my main phase 2, I make Down Nerd Magician, and 2300, you know, he sets card D. If I didn't do into Down Nerd at the last turn, I wouldn't have had enough damage to go through. So piercing damage wins me the game there. Yay! So overall, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, at any point, I could have drawn into Obedient Score, and I would have been up and running again. So the last one is Raccoons versus Evilswarm. If you want to, you can go into high-level monsters because Obedient Score allows you to make Notoria Beast Barkion, but when they have Ophion on the field, you're kind of limited what you can do, but you can still make a lot of things like Sandayu and things like that. So at this point, I'm like, oh god, his back row is so disgustingly big. So I Obedient Scored and hopefully bait out Torrential and Pandemic. So it cost me one card, but I baited out 2 back row, so I'm pretty happy about that. So Pompunko, he Fiendish Chains, and I'm like, ugh. So at this point, he hasn't really got much else. So he hits Fiendish Chain, which I was gonna hit the other, set it the other way around. So I Bottomless Mandragora, and he sets Infestation. So I wasn't sure what his card in hand was, but I was thinking it was probably an Evilswarm. So I Obedient Scored again, get more stuff, make Sandayu, he Veilers it, I Elephant, summon another Sandayu. So now I've got the lock, so he can't get through it. So I attack for 1000. So at this point, he's going to be hoping to God that he draws into an Evilswarm. But he draws into Rabbit, so that's pretty good too. Gets 2 Eliotropes. He can't do anything. This is where he made a huge misplay. If he went straight up into something else, like Silent Arc, he would be able to steal it, attack the other one. I'd be in a completely fucked position. So there was multiple times where I would have lost. You know, it's just my opponent made grave errors. So he flips and puts some stuff back in for Emerald. He draws into Pandemic, which is probably the worst card. So I'll make some tokens. Obviously, they're all the same attack as Thunder King. So I attack through for about 4,900, 5,900. That's all good. So I'm pretty happy at this point. So he draws into Caster, and he activates Infestation. And he realizes that he can't activate Infestation because I have Thunder King on the field. So he can't search. And yeah, so those replays that I got, they were okay. It's just like, they kind of show what the deck can do, you know, because its Obedient Score does set the deck. It does push the deck another tier, but at the same time, there were multiple examples during those replays where Raccoons fall short, and you need to just basically hope to God that your sides will help you, because it's great. Raccoons are great, you know, if you can set up the field perfect, then you can literally lock down the field, you've won. But at the same time, you could see as I was just demonstrating it to you that there was multiple instances of times where I could have lost straight up. I wouldn't have had a follow up. You know, it was just my opponent making misplays. But yeah, the deck is really fun. I want to do some more of these. I want to do some more evos. I want to just get the time to do them all because I've got loads of work to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and tell me if you're playing Raccoons or you like the deck, what you like about the deck, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. I want to take the deck that topped regionals and then take it further, make it more meta relevant, because some of his deck choices were a bit weird. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, the Thetcglover is out.